Welcome to the program. Those of you who are watching will see I'm wearing my John Fetterman hoodie today. John Fetterman did indeed win his Senate race yesterday. That is really good news. And I want to start with results from these extraordinarily important 2022 midterms. I will not rehash all of the reasons why these midterms are so important, not the least of which, however, it should be said, is trying to maintain a democracy in which not just this year, but in 2 years, in 2024, we can be confident that the candidates who get the most votes are accepted as the winners and assume their offices without controversy. And we know that that almost didn't happen in 2020. Expectations increasingly were for an overwhelming red wave that would devastate Democrats. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. We still don't know. It's still unclear, big picture, who's going to end up controlling the House. Republicans have picked up seats, but as of right now, we don't know who will control the House. We don't know for sure who will control the Senate, but things are looking increasingly okay there for Democrats. And some critical gubernatorial races, MAGA candidates failing miserably. And this result is a disaster for Republicans. Now, I know that there are people tweeting me saying, David, Republicans will probably still take the House and then the Senate's going to be split. What do you mean it's a disaster for Republicans? Historically, Republicans should have done really well. And based on all of the polling that Republicans themselves were pointing to, they were saying this is going to be overwhelming. It's going to be open and shut. Republicans easily take the House with a nice margin. Republicans take the Senate. Republicans win all of the critical gubernatorial races. None of that is happening. None of that is happening. Oz and Mastriano lost. Tudor Dixon lost. Herschel Walker currently losing, but probably heading towards a runoff, and we will see where that goes. Lauren Boebert might lose. Boebert, an incumbent MAGA Republican. Blake Masters down. It will probably be called today for his opponent, Mark Kelly. Sarah Palin laughed away. Carrie Lake, we don't yet know, but she very well may lose, even though it increasingly was being said, oh, Carrie Lake's going to win. And if Republicans take the House, it will be by the smallest margin. Let's get right into it, starting with the Senate. Who will control the Senate? Right now, we know 48-48. Republicans have so far not made any pickups, and Democrats have, as of right now, made one pickup. If we looked at flipped seats, that is indeed Pennsylvania, where John Fetterman has defeated television Dr. Mehmet Oz with 94% of the vote in. It is Fetterman a little over 50, Oz a little over 47, about 3 points separating them. That is a really good result. Fetterman is a really good candidate who suffered a stroke some months ago, struggled in a recent debate. Clearly not a cognitive issue. If you've seen, in particular, his speeches recently, if you see him write, this is an auditory processing issue, and it seems that the voters realize that. Now, what's the counterpoint? A quack TV doctor who has no business being senator almost won, right? That you can always find pros and cons there. If we go back to the broader Senate map, a critical race is that in Georgia. Raphael Warnock, the incumbent Democrat, trying to beat off a challenge from serial liar and completely clueless, barely able to speak former football player Herschel Walker. There is what's called the 50% rule in Georgia. If neither candidate gets 50%, there would be a runoff. There are 3 candidates, and the third party candidate, Oliver, has just over 2% of the vote. Right now, Raphael Warnock is leading by half a point, which is 18,000 votes. No matter where this shakes out, if it's Warnock by half a point or Walker by half a point, it doesn't look as though either will get to that 50% mark, meaning there will be a runoff. If that's the case, we're all going to Georgia. And I don't know if I will physically be going to Georgia. I may, or we may try to figure out digitally how to pour everything we can. Herschel Walker must not be allowed to become a senator in the United States. It's horrifying. Other important races in North Carolina, it briefly looked like Beasley might have a chance, the Democrat, at taking that seat from Ted Budd. Ultimately, it did go for Ted Budd. It was expected, but there was a brief glimmer of hope there. In Ohio, J.D. Vance did defeat Tim Ryan. That was expected. The polling was really pretty clear there. An extremely important race is Arizona. It has not yet been called. It is starting to look like it will be. I want to be careful because news continues to break. Blake Masters may be the worst person in the world as an individual. Walker is less qualified, but Blake Masters seems like a genuinely worse person. Mark Kelly, the incumbent, right now leading by 5. There is speculation it might be called today. Only 69% of the vote is in there. A couple of other key races in the state of Nevada. Adam Laxalt has taken the lead against Cortez Masto. That's disappointing, and we are going to keep an eye on that. And in Wisconsin, we still don't know for sure, but with 94% of the vote in, Ron Johnson, the incumbent, is looking like he's going to be able to stave off a challenge from Mandela Barnes, a great guy who has been a guest on this program. 6% of the vote remains to be counted, and we can maintain some amount of hope there. So in the Senate, right now, completely plausible that Democrats maintain control. We will know probably within a couple of days. Looking now at gubernatorial races. Again, not a disaster for Democrats. With what we know so far, Democrats have made 2 pickups in terms of governors, and Republicans have made none. Important races there. Of course, Pennsylvania, where thankfully Josh Shapiro, a great candidate, a genuinely great candidate, has easily defeated conspiracy theorist, MAGA, Trump riot, steal the election lunatic Doug Mastriano. This could decide the 2024 presidential election. The winner of this race, which is Josh Shapiro, will decide who is the Secretary of State in Pennsylvania, and that person will run the 2024 election, which could decide who is president of the United States. Of critical importance. We're also looking very strongly at Arizona. Carrie Lake, a complete cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs conspiracy theorist who wanted to secede, who wants to end all abortion, a dangerous, dangerous woman. Right now, she's down 0.6 of a point. We have to wait. We are hopeful. We are hopeful Carrie Lake will lose. In Georgia, as expected, Brian Kemp did defeat Stacey Abrams. That's too bad, but it was expected based on the polling. In Texas, Beto O'Rourke lost badly to incumbent Greg Abbott. Beto O'Rourke's political future is definitely in question after yet another worse than expected loss. In Michigan, fortunately, this is another loss for MAGA. Tudor Dixon, the Trump-endorsed conspiracy theorist, lost by 10 to the incumbent Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Wisconsin, was briefly in question, but Evers defeated Michaels by about 3.5 points. That's really great news. And we're still waiting for results from Oregon, which if the Republican Drazan, I forget the pronunciation, were to win in Oregon, it would be the first Republican governor in decades. Right now, Kotek, the Democrat, is ahead by 1. Only 76% of the vote has been counted. And lastly, we have the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives, the most likely to go to Republicans. Indeed, Republicans have currently made 10 pickups. They need 17 more seats to take control. It was apparently a foregone conclusion. It is now not a foregone conclusion. If they win, it will be a small margin. One interesting race, hard to focus on a lot of races here, but if we do go to Colorado and you go to the third district, you will see that Lauren Boebert is losing by 1.2. Lauren Boebert, if she is defeated, would be the second big MAGA cartoon to lose this cycle. Madison Cawthorn losing his primary after not even a full term. It's possible Lauren Boebert will lose as well. 90% of the vote is in. She's the incumbent. She's a MAGA extremist, and she is currently down by 1.2. This all may come down in terms of the Senate to Georgia. There is no red wave. The red wave is dead. Do not let anybody trick you, and I will even have clips of Republicans admitting this momentarily, but the red wave is dead. There may be a ripple. Should have been a great midterm for Republicans. It'll end up being sort of, okay. And of critical importance, Democratic governors won in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Those 3 races this year could determine who the next president of the United States is. And we'll have time to talk about that as well. I've had such trouble finding a great razor where I am not cutting myself or getting those nicks on my skin, which are so common with the cheap disposable razors. You have to meet our sponsor, Henson Shaving. Henson actually manufactures parts for the International Space Station and the Mars rover, and they are bringing that exact same precision engineering to the shaving experience. It hurts when you shave because blades extend too far and thus they wobble slightly. But with their aerospace grade CNC machines, Henson is able to make metal razors that extend just 0.0013 inches. That's less than the thickness of a human hair, which means a secure, stable blade with a vibration-free shave. It also has built-in channels to evacuate the hair and the cream. No more clogs, no more rubbing your thumb on the razor to get the hair out. I use Henson at home. Shaving is a great experience now. Henson wants to be the best razor, not the best razor business, which means you only need to buy it once and it's awesome. Go to hensonshaving.com/Pacman, add a razor and a 100-pack of blades to your cart, then enter the code Pacman to get the 100 blades for free. That is a 3-year supply. The link is down below.